Heroes and Legends, Dynasties. A new dawn emerges. 100 years had passed since Nakuvi's death. Those who came from the dimensions to the universe maintained their age in which they came. So many of them grew up with the next universal generation that would have not known the rule of the last universal empire that was now the broken Builderon Empire. Those that remained in the Builderon and alive were the newcomers and those from Neo Builderon. Tonika Batel was now the leader of the Patelika and Builderon, as the Patelicons were in charge again. It would take another 100 years for them to get back to the power they once had over the universe. However, one power outside of the Builderon's orbit wasn't going to allow that to happen. Linda's plan invoked. The Silver Pelican forces, led by Edward L. Seer and Grand A, were patrolling Builderon space when they saw a fleet of Royal Bankeron ships heading to the Builderon capital planet of Iyama in an attack formation. So they went and took a shortcut to the planet to warn the number 2 of Patelika, the smoker Baha Patel. Baha is the protector of Tunica. He then devised a plan with all the Builderons to come and defend the main Builderon castle from this danger. As plans were underway to combat what looked like to be Linda's plan, Marcy, the Pelican Brochure officer, was feeling hopeless. She knew it won't be long before Builderon is no more a power, as they pissed off too many in the past. Now that all their heavy hitters were now gone, she in heart prepared for the worst. Word had gotten out to the Urka, who were the furthest away from the planet by a few galaxies, raced there with the entire force that they had. Them and the Watermans were on the way to the now besieged planet. Royalty strikes. Gordon Royal and his sister Alcina Royal led a small but elite force of knights and of royal troops to invade Builderon Castle. With him, he had the few royals from the dimensions: Alexander, the officer, the brave Natash, and a relative of the late royal head, Reefer Royal, who was now trying to find her way in the universe. His main universal officers, Augustine, his royal advisor, and the tomboy badass, Tony, also joined the fray. The vast numbers of Patel and Pipal Builderon troops could only hold off for so long, as the Knights of the Royals were incredibly stronger than they had hoped. King Gordon and Natash took the eastern road, while his sister and Alexander took to the center. Rafa and Auguste took the long western road that wrapped around the castle. Auguste was sure that the enemy would use all of their tricks here, so he went through himself, while the eastern and central royal units were dealing with Pipal and Nicene troops. The Silver Pelican defended the western gate that led to the castle proper. On the castle walls, ambush units, led by Marcy, had arrived. Auguste planned for this and had blasted men fire upon the Builderon. Then certain royal troops turned into giant mechs, while others turned into twister-producing monsters. Grand A, Sia, and Edward L. quickly lost their lives in the chaos. Augustus saw how scared Marcy was to all of this, so he offered her a chance to flee, and she took it and fled. Next, in the east, they seen Royal Yun, who had lost his fire to fight since the last war, was hoping to get it back by killing the king, but he was outdone by one of the royal knights. Next, the people scientist, now we seen Officer Dean, came and brought with him the people leaders, Rudy the second, the two-headed one, and the meaning of the builder, Trillium Bipple. They gang up on the king, but he held his own. Alcina and Alexander had made it through the center and could advance north of the castle to attack it or help Gordon's forces. Alcina knew her brother could handle it, so she told Alexander to come with her to the north. Back at the west, Auguste and the special forces stayed to the wall to implement a plan. He told the eager Tunde to come to back up Retha, who was dealing with the Golden Battalion leader Wei and his forces. She was gleeful, and her knights advanced, the Tash slain Dean of Vicien, and went to the main camp to defend it. To the south of the castle, the Urkel led by the late successor's best friend Tai Urkel, along with the hopeless bodyguard who failed to protect the successor, Frederick, and the oldest Urkel fighter, Nikita, at the age of 68, had arrived. They had a massive force and the Waterman leadership along with them to crush the invaders. King Gordon Royal had already planned for their arrival, so he had his main tough giant, who was tough to beat, Rodney Royal, and the Dimension Season Commander Phil, who was 60 years old, to defend the south. The two men were impressive, as they cut down many Urkel and Waterman troops. Then Farrington and Mackey, the cousins of the great spearmen of the Watermans, John Conn, advanced. The senior leaders of the Watermans, the brothers Vice Alf Water and Rudolph Water, who now grew to love his once hated brother, advanced as well. While this was going on, Gordon cut into literally both Rudy and Trillium people. Axina and Alexander advance was stopped by a force wall that was being generated by Baha Patel, who was on the other side. Gordon told them to stay there, as he would go around to the west and deal with the Baha personally. The ladies at the west, in the meanwhile, were struggling with the Golden Riflemen that were blocking their advance and protecting the giant Golden Man. Wait, Gordon had arrived to help Retha and Tunde out when the Gaboni Builder had arrived from behind to kill the royal king. Gordon then took some knights and his sword and went to deal with the unwelcome guests. Claudette Colboni, the 64-year-old leader, was tired of living so long and wanted to die in peace. Her daughter figure and close ally, Chacha Gaboni, always tried to cheer her up, but now they had the mission to do. They must avenge their fallen comrades. However, before they could get their bearings, Gordon pulled his ace move and speed around them, firing blasts at them. Next, he boxed them up and then slashed them and blasted his royal sword blast at the two ladies, which killed them both. Now Claudette was free to die like she always wanted. Augustus then performed his plan. He blew up the wall that led to the castle and got the debris flying to crush the golden riflemen. Then, like clockwork, Tony gave a mighty punch to Wei to use his body to move the rocks out of their way, which killed Wei instantly. The northern force wall was down due to all of the debris at the castle, and Axina rushed at Baha to smash his head open to the wall. With Baha dead, the royals advanced to Tanika and the castle. With the castle fallen, Natash then moved south to aid the men who were about to be overrun. Ronnie and Phil were saved. Natash killed Farrington while Ronnie ended Rudolph's life. Phil was impressed with Maki and his fighting style. He gave him his hardest hits, and was caught in the middle of the attack. Vince died and Maki was captured. The Southern forces then advanced to end the Urkel. As this was going on, Gordon had made a quick work of Tonika battle, so he backtracked on his white royal steed and advanced south to put down Tai and the other Urkel forces. With that, the Builder Run were defeated, and Linda's plan of attacking the heart of the Builder Run when they were at their weakest and ending them was completed by the royals alone, and not a grand alliance of bankrupt powers, as the late Linda had planned. Gordon had two powerful Builder-Run Bashor fighters, Marcy of the Battalion and Maki the Watermans, to join his cause. As a result of this, the royal bankrun grew to new heights not seen in eons. With all of the Builder-Run space now under his thumb, a new dawn emerges. From this true event in history, we can now branch out to some of the other galaxies and how they are faring in this new age of the universal chaos. And then we can go to the dynasties of the main ones before heading back to the true history and ending of this new and exciting tale.